I just wanted to get this out there so that people would, kind of be more aware. So again, from your guys' perspective, talking about all these different things. So let's just start off. What's your name? How long you been driving a truck?
My name is Eddie Ventura. I've been driving for about 6 years now.
Are you doing regional, local, or OTR?
OTR.
OTR. What's your
All
favorite?
50 states.
Um, what's the hardest part about this job that you think people don't see?
Well, the hardest part about the job is being inside a truck for a long period of time. Your mind, you got to have the right, I guess, attitude and the right mindset, because most people can't sit uh, anywhere, let alone a truck, for hours on end. So, plus you're away from home, you're away from your family. Um, I guess that's the hardest part.
Yeah. No, I know from my dad's experience as well. He's talked about that plenty of times. I mean, there's times that he missed certain holidays or birthdays, stuff like that. So I know what that's like being on the other side of it. So seeing that firsthand. Um, do you think people underestimate how mentally draining this job can be?
Absolutely. People don't understand. They have no clue. They don't really think about it, to be honest, because again, a truck driver, there's never a conversation about it. They don't know what it entails, um, because a lot of, again, my family and friends, they only know about it because I tell them the hardships of it, and
And if you weren't involved in it, they would have no idea.
they would have no idea. It's not like something that people go out of their way to look up or get
Yeah.
information on. They just go to the store, they see the goods there, and they don't think about how it got there, how it came to be, that type of thing.
That's a good point. That's like kind of why we're doing what we're doing, man, is because, you might know of those larger companies like the Sayas, right? The logistics companies themselves.
And I've learned, like, I never thought about it
Right.
until I started driving truck. And I was like, wow, this is how the process is.
Yeah.
And it's like, it
Talk-
opens your
yeah,
eyes
absolutely.
to, like, what, the back, you never see what's behind the curtain.
The network, right? Yeah,
Right.
I mean, getting in touch with folks like you, it's so important because you really knocked it on the head when you said, you don't really know. Your friends and family wouldn't know, right? So this is so important that we do what we're trying to do, right? So I'll let him continue.
I literally what I was just telling him before he walked over here was people don't realize everything that they have in their house, everything that they have on their body was on a truck at one point.
Exactly. And see, that's what I'm saying. And again, before I started driving truck, I didn't think about that. I didn't know the process. I didn't know, what truck drivers have to do to get stuff from point A to point B. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot that goes into it that people are not aware of.
Oh my God. The process, the time, the energy. You have to, it's just, people think it's a easy job. It is in a way, but at the same time, again, when you're on the road, you have to, the stress level, again, if you drive a normal car, the stress level is there because you have to be aware, you have to know what you're doing, you have to, know how to drive, which 90% of people don't. But a semi truck is a animal all completely different.
You're all 80,000 pounds.
Exactly. So you have to be, if you think you have to be aware in a car, it's triple that in a semi truck. And so you have to be constantly, on point. And I could tell you horror stories. I've seen it all. And
Well, what is your crazy story? One of my questions that I was going to ask, if you had a crazy moment at like a warehouse or something that you've seen on the road.
I've seen a semi truck plow into a gas station. I've seen a semi truck catch on fire because he didn't know how to use the brakes. again, you have to be aware not only of the truck, you have to be
Going
aware of the
downhill.
trailer going downhill. You have to know how to operate the truck, know what it's capable of doing, um, all the pitfalls. If the maneuvers, you can get easily stuck. A buddy of mine sent me a video of a guy who drove his truck into a cemetery and destroyed it, and then left the truck there and dipped.
Holy shit! I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So people don't understand the stress, the amount of stress it takes driving a semi truck.
it's not even just that. What you're experiencing yourself and everything that you have to do, from backing into a tight dock to maneuvering a city, all these small little things that people don't notice. I mean, you see truck drivers in downtown Chicago or downtown Boston, and people just think, oh, it's a little tight. You go with your car down there, and people get lost. People don't know what to do. People don't know how to maneuver. So that's a beast in itself. In itself.
And see, when you go to truck driving school, it's like everything. When you go to school, they just teach you the basics. You learn when you're on the road.
Life's the biggest teacher.
Exactly. And so there's no one there to hold your hand. There's no one there to tell you. You learn on your own. Like, again, driving a semi truck in the weather, that's a totally different animal. I could tell you horror stories about that. Again, it's just people don't understand or have a clue as to what it takes mentally and physically. It's like I was in the military, and people will never understand what it is that a soldier goes through, what he sees, why he has PTSD, what he has to deal with after going back to civilian life. It's just people live in their own little bubble.
Very true. Very true. And in doing this is why I think for every industry and just for every person, perspective is super important. And bringing awareness to certain topics that a lot of people like this aren't aware of. And, we're involved in this, so this is our way of kind of doing that. I wanted to ask you a little bit of a more personal question. What's the biggest sacrifice that you've made to keep this job and to be driving a truck?
Not having a life. It's like I live in Florida. I'm set. As far as I have a house, I have all the toys, I have all my stuff, but being away from my normal life. Again, it's a different lifestyle. As a truck driver, you live in your truck, you eat in your truck, your whole world is your truck. And so the hardest thing is not having a life. Again, if you have a family, a lot of people don't do it because they have a family. If you have a girlfriend, you have a relationship, you're away for months at a time. Like I do 6-month runs. So, yeah. So, that's, again, the hardest aspect of it is just not having a life. Your life is dedicated to that truck.
Do you think it's true that I hear a lot of truck drivers say that once they get into trucking, it's almost impossible to get out?
Yeah, because it's the old, when you go fishing, the whole hook, line, and sinker. How do you catch the fish? Well, you got to put something that will attract them. The money is, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the market is, but the money, what a normal job at home doesn't pay what you would make as a truck driver. So that's what the addicting part of it is the money.
It's very true, and I see it all the time. They see the payments coming in, but a lot of payments also go out. They get addicted to the money, and then they want to scale, get 2-3 trucks. A couple trucks break down, they're stuck with headaches, and you just get stuck with equipment, and it's hard to pull yourself out.
Yeah, well, I go, again, my military, we had a saying, it was called KISS, which means keep it simple, stupid. So I keep it as simple as possible. I don't stress out because you deal with enough stress. So I don't do the whole owner operator thing because that's a different realm. I'm I'm a company driver, so I don't have to worry about, you know what I'm
Clean
saying?
cash.
I just run my run and get my paycheck at the end of the week. I don't stress about everything else.
What are you most proud of personally being a truck driver?
The ability to be able to do it, because again, you got to be on point. I've seen veterans crash and burn.
Yeah.
People that have done it for way more than I have. The ability to understand uh, how and what needs to be done as far as driving a truck. You pace yourself, but yeah, it's a skill. I mean, it's hard because again, your senses have got to be on point. Uh, Again, if you blink, believe it or not, if you look down and then look back up, you
Whole
know,
different story.
it's for that quick second, anything can happen. And so the ability to be able to be responsible for, driving a 10-ton truck is at a different level because, as you know, and as I've seen in the news lately, you can kill people if you do the wrong thing. So a lot is riding on how good you are behind that wheel. So yeah, it's a skill set. So
I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to someone that's looking to get into trucking?
huh, um, if you really want to do it, again, the money is the addicting part of it. You make really good money. Um, if you're looking to get into trucking, my best advice is, um, I guess your head. It's got to be something that you really want to do. It's hard to get into. It's not easy because again, every company they hire people that have experience. So it's like people when I went to school, you think, oh, I'm gonna get my CDL and then immediately start driving a truck. No, and they don't tell you that. So it is extremely difficult. My thing is be patient until you get that and start learning. And but yeah, it's something that you really got to put your head into. That's what I.
I want to ask you a question, and I don't know where you are as far as wrapping this up goes, because we've been so appreciative of your time
Yeah,
already.
thanks.
I want to ask you, so we are out here, we're not selling anything, man. We're selling ourselves, right? But we are working towards an end goal that we have, and that is that Alex, with the small team of friends, he's created an app. It's called Pickup, and what that does is it allows drivers, people like you, to see a warehouse on the road, check in with that warehouse and see, not check in with them, but check on that warehouse and see, how long do people average wait there? Do they have restrooms available? Where's the hardest turns that you're going to be making on their drive? Could you tell them a little bit about that? And then to follow up, I want you to hear him out and then tell us how you think that would benefit or how it wouldn't benefit you as a driver.
So what I'm working towards is I made an app for truck drivers to use. It's completely free. It's basically like a Yelp for truck drivers. When you visit a warehouse, I came to the idea after my brother was at a warehouse one day, and they took 10 hours to unload him, and we lost a reload because of that. And that happens over and over and over, and I'm sure you know the amount of warehouses that are super slow. And Google reviews, you can go on Google reviews and kind of get an idea, but there's a lot of mixed reviews. I wanted to create a central place for truck drivers to go on. They can leave a review. They can talk about unloading time, what commodities or amenities they had, if there's a vending machine, if they're allowed to use the bathroom, if there's overnight parking, stuff like that. A central place where truck drivers can not only plan ahead of time. There's plenty of times where I've seen a shitty warehouse on Google with a 1-star review. I'll call the broker and be like, no, thank you. I'm not sending my driver there. So not only are you doing that, but every time a driver leaves a review, you're helping the next guy out. And I was telling him, truck drivers always look to help each other out because no one understands what it means to be out on the road like a truck driver. And you guys are always looking to help each other out. So, do you see a benefit in having this sort of system where you have an app where you can leave a review, help the next guy out, and prepare for routes in the future?
That depends, because that could be a double-edged sword. Because usually the warehouses don't care about what a truck driver has to do. That's why they take forever, and they don't understand that we make our money on the road. But if I have to drive, let's say 1,000 miles, I have to be gone at a certain time. The warehouses, they don't care about that.
They don't. But that's why we're giving power to the drivers. If you're seeing ahead of time that a warehouse has been reviewed by 100 drivers and they're all giving an 8 hour, because there's a slider and you pick how long you stayed there for loading or unloading. And if you see an average of 6 to 8 hours for unloading, you're probably going to tell yourself, hey, I don't want to go there, or your dispatcher is going to see it and not want to send you there. So that way you can filter out these slow warehouses to improve your routes and improve where you're going over time.
Yeah, but again, it's a double-edged sword, because the person who books your load, they don't look at how much time it takes for you to get loaded. All they care about is you picking up that load and taking it to from point A to point B. They're not looking at the time amount, because I've worked for a lot of companies. And again, that's the least. You got to understand that everybody is in the game to make money. They don't. To tell you the 100% truth, not even your dispatcher cares about the drivers. They don't. The drivers are expendable. The reason I say this is because a lot of companies push drivers to drive beyond their extended amount of time, and then that's when accidents happen. But it is good in the other side of it, because, like you said, it lets the driver know about that place, how they operate, how long, and so if the warehouses and the other companies start looking at that, they're gonna say, oh.
They need to fix them.
Exactly. They need to fix, they need to do whatever. And if it affects them, then that's the only way you're going to get change.
Of course. And for a lot of company drivers, I know that dispatchers won't ask you a single question. They don't care when you're loaded. They don't care anything like that. From my personal experience, there have been a lot of owner-operators in my experience that will call me and they'll look up a warehouse on Google and say, hey, this place requires this, or this place has a tight dock, I don't want to go there. And I have to call the broker and say, hey, listen, this isn't going to work, driver's rejecting. And plenty of times they'll be able to do that. But also, everyone's doing it for money. A lot of the times the dispatchers won't care, but if they're losing reloads because you sat at a warehouse for too long, they're going to get affected by it. So I think with all that...
The app has got to affect them.
Of course.
Has got to affect the dispatch, the broker, and the warehouse. If it doesn't affect them, they're not going to care. It's business as usual. You got to suffer for it.
Yeah.
And again, I've been in situations like that where I've gone to the warehouse and I'm like, bro, you guys are wasting my time, my energy, it's my money. But they're like, oh, well, it is what it is. They don't care.
We'll get to you when we get to you.
Exactly. So the only way that would work is if it would affect, the other parties involved. But it is good for truck drivers because they get a heads up and they understand. But again, if you've been in the game for however long, it's common knowledge.
Yeah.
You already know. A perfect example is Walmart warehouses. You got to have a set appointment. They make you wait. They're very strict. Yeah, they don't care. You go there, and again, it's on their terms. So they don't give a crap about the driver, how long it takes to load you. and that's Walmart. So
Well, with a place like Walmart, you're probably not going to have that big of a change. They're too big. But there's a lot of these small and middle-sized warehouses where they're just lazy, they're underproducing, they're understaffed or something like that. And I think that if you got enough drivers to leave reviews where it influenced people to not go there, they would have no choice but to change.
but see, that's the thing, and that's where the difference is. Owner operator has that choice. Company driver doesn't have that choice. So owner operator can say no, I don't want to do this run. A company driver, he has to, once you book it, you have to do that run. You can't say no, I don't want to do it.
But you as a company driver, would you want to help out another truck driver, another owner operator?
Oh,
if you
yeah,
had
of course, that's valuable information. Any information that's useful is valuable information. So if, like I said, it's like Google Maps. When you're driving, other drivers, when you see a cop, you put it on Google Maps, and when you're driving through, hey, there's a cop there.
Yep.
So the other drivers know, hey, slow down, there's a cop there. So in that aspect, useful information. If my experience helps another driver out, that's valuable information. So yeah, if that's what it does, then yeah, it's a better something than nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
And I don't think anywhere there is no central platform where drivers can have a voice like that. So that's our whole goal with this entire thing: giving people the voice, helping each other out in between the community, and hopefully influencing change in these warehouses that are slow.
yeah, again, the only way that would ever change is if it comes from them. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I can tell you 100 billion stories where, you know, even if you have an appointment, they make you wait. So it's like, okay,
Your appointment's at 7, they don't take
yeah,
until
and
2
so
p.m.
they're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about, oh, this guy has to drive 1,000 miles, so let's get him loaded as soon as possible. Because, again, not only do you have to drive 1,000 miles, but you have to get there at a certain amount of time. So
You gotta sleep as well.
exactly. So the longer they take, the less you have. The less time you have. Like, let's say if you want to stop and use the restroom or you want to eat, that takes away from that time. And sleep and rest, it takes away from that time because you have to be there at a certain time. If they don't, they dox you. So it's like you're between a rock and a hard place. So it has to come from them. And if not, you're just, again, nothing will ever change.
Yeah. Well, that's our whole goal with this. Just want to ask you a crazy question, kind of change the mood up a little bit. You got any crazy truck stop stories? You ever encountered a lot lizard?
Any crazy?
Truck stop stories. You ever encounter a lot lizard?
Oh my God, bro! You encounter a lot of. You see a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
Between people and situations.
Give us a good example that we can end this off on.
Yeah.
Just
give us something good.
tell the people what they'll never experience. Tell them an experience that you've had.
Something a truck driver would only experience.
Like when you at a rest stop, you're talking about?
Yeah, at a rest stop, some crazy shit that you've seen people doing at a truck stop. Someone washing their feet in the sink, shitting in the shower, whatever it might be. Something crazy that you've seen.
Well, I went to one stop where there was a dude in a truck that was siphoning gas from other truck drivers
Oh, shit.
and loading it up for himself. That's one, and they caught the guy and they arrested him. But that's one crazy thing. Oh my gosh, another one is you see a lot of homeless people, believe it or not, in these truck stops, and they try to bum rides off of you, and they, offer you dubious things so you can help them out.
Sure.
I haven't really experienced like ludicrous things. I've seen crazy things on the road, But you know, as far as at the stops, yeah, the craziest thing I've seen is a guy was stealing gas from
Yeah.
other truck drivers.
That's fucking crazy.
That is.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you, and hopefully we can start getting the word out. Appreciate your time,
yeah,
man.
no problem.
Of course.